Hey everybody, it's GombletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'm going to be playing another Innistrad double feature draft of the set of Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt, all in one with 2 rares per pack. So let's see what we've got today, see if we can't make a pretty sweet deck. So at rare we have Alchemist's Gambit and Croaking Counterpart. These are both pretty narrow and not particularly great. Croaking Counterpart I think is a bit better, but it is a gold card that is a bit slow. So not the kind of card I love to pick one, pack one. We have some pretty solid commons, Flourishing Hunter, Falconeth Celebrates for big drops, Vildarin Epicure, and Search Party Captain for some early game value. But I think that what I'd like to take here is going to be the Whispering Wizard. This is just a really fun build around uncommon. 4 mana for a 3/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get a 1/1 Flying Spirit token. I think this is probably just, in my opinion, the best card in the pack for a pick one, pack one. Pack 2 here, we see a lot of sweet stuff. We do see Kaya at rare, however, she is a very narrow rare. She's one of the weakest planeswalkers in the set. Not super great unless you have a deck that can produce a lot of creature tokens, so not the kind of card I'd like to take here. Just not a big fan of her. So we have Diregraf if we want to just continue with blue. This will combo well with Whispering Wizard because we get tokens to exploit to it. We have Moonrager Slash for removal in red, and blue-red is going to be great at casting a lot of non-creature spells to work with the Whispering Wizard. But we also have Eaten Alive, which is an excellent removal spell, 5 mana to exile a creature planeswalker, or we can sacrifice a token to do it for only 1. I think these are my favorite picks here, just great removal. There's also a nice efficient creature, the Hookhand Mariner, pretty big for its cost. Bloodcrazed Socialite, very similar, just very beefy, does a lot of damage. So those are the top 4 here, I would say. Diregraf on that list too, but I'm going to take Eaten Alive here. Just pick up some great black removal there. Now we can scoop up a Hobbling Zombie to go with that Eaten Alive. This combos well with anything that exploits or sacrifices your creatures, and Eaten Alive will sack creatures because this gives you a Decayed Zombie token, which is basically just sacrificial fodder, a 2/2 that'll die as soon as it attacks. Don't love these rares. Sigarda Summons, even if you're the green-white training deck, is a very slow rare. It's not the kind of card that wins the game on its own. You need to have creatures on the board, and you need to have those creatures to have +1/+1 counters. So I'm really not a big fan of it, even in green-white +1/+1 counters, so it's definitely not a card I'm going to take early and try to move into that strategy. So yeah, I mean, I think Hobbling Zombie is just one of the best cards in the pack. Mysterious Tome, not really an option for similar reasons to Sigarda Summoning. Is just very, very slow. Now that we have a Hobbling Zombie, an Eaten Alive, and a Whispering Wizard, we've got a decent start to a Dimir Sacrifice deck. We could take a Silverbolt here, but we're hoping that in our color pair we can pick up better removal than this. That being said, we're not necessarily definitely blue-black, and Silverbolt can go into any deck, which is nice. Novice Occultist is fine to sacrifice. It's pretty solid for that. Cradle of Safety is good at protecting cards like a Whispering Wizard, which is nice. And Binding Geist is pretty fine filler. Occultist, Geist, Safety, Silverbolt. Nothing off-color super powerful. I don't feel the need to push into another color. I think I'll scoop up a Novice Occultist here. Get like a really good sacrifice theme going, so we really have a direction that we'd like to go. And the Blood Tithe Collector is a pretty solid pickup here. 5 mana for a 3/4 flyer. If your opponent lost life this turn, make them discard a card when you play it. Other than that, in this pack, we do see Eccentric Farmer, one of the better green commons. Nice little card draw alongside that 2/3 body for 3. And then Evolving Wilds, which is great mana fixing. Pack 6 now. Just a Siphon Essence, really. There's another Eccentric Farmer, though. We do push into green. Maybe go like green-black instead of blue-black. Our only blue card so far is Whispering Wizard, and we've seen 2 Eccentric Farmers go decently late now. And I think the card is quite good. Not quite Organ Hoarder level, but still a good card, especially if you have some flashback in your deck. I'm actually going to speculate on green here, take an Eccentric Farmer. Now we're going to have black and then either black-green or black-blue here. Alright, yeah, still seeing some decent green stuff here. Apprentice, Sharpshooter, and Spiked Ripsaw, both fine pickups, although Gift of Things is fine for black as well. Not going to be good against vampire decks, but solid against anything else. I think I want to take one of the green cards here. Ripsaw's pretty great in like a training deck and stuff. For green-black, don't know if the Ripsaw is going to be super necessary. Probably hoping to just play straight-up bigger cards than them and kill anything they have that's too big for us. So I'm almost higher on Sharpshooter here. Could be wrong on that. Sharpshooter is kind of filler. But yeah, I don't find equipment to be super necessary in the green-black color pair. This will be an easy Grizzly Ritual. Snarling Wolf is fine, but nothing special. Ritual's actually pretty similar. Fine, but nothing special. But, I don't know, I really like this card in the late game to kill their best creature and get blood tokens to discard any future lands. By the time you have 6 mana, you really don't need more lands. Could take Croaking Counterpart, try to go Sultai here. That'd be a bit difficult. I don't think Croaking Counterpart's a good enough rare to really push us into Sultai here. We could still do it for funsies, but I think I want just a big game-ending threat here. Take the Tireless Hauler. Yeah, and we're seeing some good late green pickups here. Hookhand Mariner still in the pack here. Just solidly sized body for that 4 mana. And now we have a Bramble Armor or Unhallowed Phalanx. Neither are cards I generally want to run, but I'll take Phalanx in case we get some high toughness matters cards. Like the 4 mana 1/4 that makes everything deal damage equal to its toughness. Although we saw one of those earlier and somebody else scooped it up, I believe. Alright, really nice last pickup here. Sporeback Wolf. 2 mana 2/2. It's a 2/4 during your turn, so it attacks in well against other 2/2s. Alright, what do we have in this pack? Ooh, unfortunately nothing in our color pairs. We have Howl of the Hunt. I guess this is an okay combat trick, because it does stay on the board forever after you cast it. So that's fine. But then there's Bloodseeker, which is only good in like black-white life gain, because it triggers off a bunch of life gain. I guess it is a 2 mana 1/3 no matter what. And there are some mono black cards that gain some life. So it could be Bloodseeker here, could be Howl the Hunt, could be Gift of Fangs, but it's definitely not Demonic Bargain, just too hefty of a price when you only have 40 card decks, and we can't really... I mean, I guess we could take Sigardian Saber here, but it'd be really, really difficult to start playing a double white card now when we're like literal 50-50 on black and green. Pretty heavily tied into both colors at this point. I mean, I guess we're really not missing anything there, so we could still just take Sigardian Saber for gems, I suppose. Or on the off chance we start getting some absolutely incredible mana fixing that lets us splash in a double white bomb, but that seems highly unlikely, so we're probably not supposed to take that pick there. But I'll do it anyway. So out of this pack, I really like Hound Tamer, 3 mana 3/3 Trample with a good activated ability to spit +1/+1 counters on your cards. It's even stronger during the night. Now we have another Novice Occultist, a Ceremonial Knife, and a Diregraf Scavenger. All 3 of those are quite nice pickups here. Don't have a lot in the early game so far, just 2 2-mana creatures, but I do like Diregraf Scavenger a lot better than Novice Occultist when we don't have these sacrifice build-arounds to combo off with it, which we're not going to have very many of because we don't have access to blue, which has half of the sacrifice cards, half the exploit cards. So I'm just going to take Diregraf Scavenger here because I think it's just... If we don't pay attention to mana costs, I think it's the strongest out of all those. It gives you some graveyard hate, as well as some life drain, and a Death Toucher that blocks anything and kills it. So Diregraf Horde is going to be really easily the pick here. Quite a bomb for a common. 5 mana for a 3/4, exile 2 cards from their grave, and create 2 Decayed Zombies, so put 7 power out for only 5 mana, although you're only attacking with the Decayed Zombies 1 time, it's still quite a scary threat. So far, a rareless deck here. Definitely not what you want to see in double feature. But our initial rares were not very good, and our good rare in pack 2 was a white card, so sometimes the stars will not align for us here. I like Foul Play a decent bit. You get to kill your opponent's early game creature and draw a card, so it's a 2-for-1 in that sense, which is pretty nice. Covert Cutpurse is solid too. Destroy something that's been dealt damage, then bring back a Flying Death Toucher, so you get another 2-for-1. Sometimes even a 3-for-1, but we got a lot of 3-mana creatures here. Actually a pretty hard choice. I think both of these are quite excellent at just getting you some value by taking stuff out. I'm going to go with the Foul Play here, though. Ooh, Clear Shot is phenomenal, and that's probably the pick. There's a Pestilent Wolf, which would be kind of big for us, because we don't have a lot of cheap creatures, nothing at 1 and only a couple at 2. But Clear Shot is just excellent. Target creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn, deal damage equal to that creature's power. Super good removal. The best removal in green in the format, I think. Even a little better than Wolf Strike, because it's easier to use it as a combat trick as well. And now we can go ahead and pick up a 2 mana 2/2 here. Blade Brand and Wolf Strike. Well, I'm a little higher on Wolf Strike. Just the slightly more expensive, well, not more expensive, but slightly less powerful Clear Shot. +1/+1 is a little better as a combat trick than +2/+0. Although I guess +2/+0 is better at taking something out. That being said, Wolf Strike only triggers the +2 during the night. I'm going to take Gift of Fangs. Now that I have instant speed cards like Clear Shot and Wolf Strike, I'm not really going to have room for instant speed cards like the Wolf Aura that gives +2/+2. Another 2-drop, pretty happy with that. Dawnhard Disciple here. Don't have enough ramp to just take a random 5-mana 5/5 there. When we take more 5-drops at this point, we're gonna want to take just like the most powerful 5-drops. Like Diregraf Horde, Blood Tithe Collector. Even Tireless Hauler is better than the 5-mana 5/5. Dredge Revival is very slow, but it's decent value. Shady Traveler is nice. Rot-Tide Gargantua's fine. Yeah, we got some Decayed Zombies. I can pick up a Rot-Tide Gargantua. Definitely like that better than that Candlelit Cavalry we saw earlier. Okay. So looks like we're going to be a rare free deck here because Howling Moon, not super where it's at for green-black when we have 3 wolves and werewolves. This card is playable. It's not super great, but it's a fine playable for like werewolf decks, which we are not. So we're just going to scoop up a Brambleworm here. It's alright to have like 1 Brambleworm in the deck even if you don't have any ramp. I wouldn't take more of them because it is a 7-drop, but just having 1 in here, even without the ramp, is still going to be a really nice top end if the game ever goes late. Alright, well, maybe we will pick up a rare here. Storm the Festival, look at the top 5 cards of your library, put 2 permanents with mana value 5 or less from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom. It's going to be really painful if it misses, and we're definitely going to want some ramp to play this card because flashing it back costs 10. But it is the most fun card in the pack for sure. The most consistently decent card for us would just be Hookhand Mariner. So it's kind of between Hookhand Mariner or Storm the Festival if I want to get cheeky or not. And I think I'm going to try it. I'll try Storm the Festival. I've never cast that card in Limited yet, so this will be my first attempt. We'll see if we can't get that to put in some work for us. Definitely going to want a lot of permanents to work with it. Take a Ruler Recruit here. It's pretty fine. 2 creatures off of 1 card, 4 power, 2 toughness. I don't love Bloodsworn Squire. This card always has felt just infinitely slow to me, like most of the cards that I don't like to pick up. Alright, here we go. Weaver Blossoms, exactly what we're looking for. We're trying to ramp into this Brambleworm and this Storm the Festival now, so Weaver Blossoms is an excellent pickup. Bloodcrazed Socialite, usually quite powerful. Baneblade Scoundrel as well, but Weaver Blossoms is really filling a hole in our deck that we would like filled. That was a weird way to phrase it. Alright, we got 4 2-drops. Do I want any more? Just another random 2-mana 2/2. Or the solid 3-drop, or a decent 5-drop. All of these are they feel very replaceable. They're all at like cluttered up mana costs, so I don't know. Dawnhard Mentor is like really annoying. It clutters up the board and stuff. I'll just scoop that up here. Really don't know on that one. Ooh, this one's definitely Morbid Opportunist. My biggest problem with the Dawnhard Mentor is that I do have a lot of 3-mana stuff going on, and now I'm taking a Morbid Opportunist, so I'm going to have even more 3-mana stuff. Probably going to cut some 3-mana creatures, but Morbid Opportunist is absolutely excellent. Drawing a card whenever a creature dies, really good with Decayed Zombies, really good if you have a lot of removal. And even without, it's kind of a must-kill threat the second your opponents see it. So Ragged Recluse is like the worst 2-drop in the world for this deck, because we don't have anything to discard, we don't have a lot of blood tokens. That being said, I'm really not going to play Moldcraft Millipede, I'm probably not playing Revival. I guess I'll still scoop up Revival, toss it in the side. Now, we'll grab a Novice Cultist, I suppose, at the 2-drop slot. And there we go, now we're getting some good 2-drops. Sporeback Wolf and Timberland Guide. I'll take the Sporeback Wolf. Ooh, we wheel the Hookhand Mariner, so the Storm the Festival was basically a free pick for us. It just absolutely makes it into the deck, and we get the Hookhand Mariner right back. So we lost out on nothing taking it. So that's super nice. Random Candlelit Cavalry here. That Cartographer's Survey is a 4-mana sorcery. You look at the top 7 cards of your library, you can put 2 lands among them onto the battlefield. You just really don't want to randomize your mana ramp like that. As I randomize my biggest bomb. I don't really want to play either of these. If you have Coven, being able to draw a card while you cast a combat trick is pretty cool. And we have some big stuff for Retrieve, but Retrieve is very slow. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm cutting either of those cards. Just not my cup of tea here. I'll definitely cut this Candlelit Cavalry now that we have 2 Tireless Haulers. And we get to make a lot of cuts as we move into deck building here. Alright, so I've went ahead and set aside all the cards I think I'm going to cut here. I think we are going to play a 17 land version. I could see a justification for 18 because we do really want to hit all of our mana sources all the way up the curve to 5. But there are a couple cards here that will help with that. We have a Weaver of Blossoms, adding a mana of any color, Eccentric Farmer drawing a land, and even just a little bit of card draw, a couple Novice Cultists, a Foul Play, and a Morbid Opportunist allow us to just dig through a little more cards than we would generally, which makes it more likely that we've drawn a land as we get later in the game. So I think I'm going to keep 17 lands here. And we do have like a good chunk of stuff to play up to 3 mana, so it's not like we'll be dead in the water if we don't hit our big drops early. So yeah, I think this is the deck I'm going to go for here. Let's get into some gameplay. Here we are now, round 1 with the Golgari deck. Pretty fine hand, both our colors. Some cards to play on 3 and 4. Alright, opponent takes 1 mulligan. Alright. And starts with a Plains, passes the turn. First draw here is a Forest, and then we draw into a 2-drop for turn 2. Very nice. Get this Eccentric Farmer out on 3. We should be able to mill one of our creatures. So even if nothing's died for Diregraf Scavenger, we can exile our own card from grave. Esper from our opponent, blue, white, and black. Graveyard Trespasser is the play. And Eccentric Farmer mills no lands for us, but that's okay. We've still got 6 mana in hand. The most expensive card in our deck is 7. So Graveyard Trespasser is pretty scary, but our Diregraf Scavenger can deal with that. This just exiles some cards from grave to drain us for some life, but mainly to stop us from doing any graveyard synergies. So 3/3 turns into a 4/4. We can just double block it if it attacks in as well. Honored Heirloom. For some more mana fixing for our opponent, they have really got the graveyard removal stuff in their deck for sure. Don't really have any good attacks in here. We just drop our Scavenger and hold up our blocks. Pretty glad I didn't end up putting in any of our graveyard reanimation spells, because just Honored Heirloom, Graveyard Trespasser. There are just so many random cards in this format that'll exile things from graveyard. I do feel like they went a little overboard with the amount of graveyard hate that they have in the set for the draft format. Makes me a little sad anytime I actually try to play regrowth style effects. Catapult Fodder coming on down, 1/5. If they have 3 creatures with higher toughness than power, that flips to the 3/6 side and gets really big and scary. For now, it's not much. So our Hook Hand Mariner is not going to change things too much for us, but if it does flip tonight, this can attack and trade with their 4/4 Graveyard Trespasser if nothing else. And that is no longer the case. They've got a 3/3 first striker down now. Do hit the 3rd forest to cast Storm the Festival, which is a sorcery unlike Collected Company, so we do have to just drop it right now. See what we hit. We get a Diregraf Horde and a land. Not the worst Storm the Festival ever. And unfortunately, with an Honored Heirloom on our opponent's board, we're never going to be able to flashback that. The only way that we could like guaranteed flashback it is if we had enough mana to spend 6 to cast and then 10 to flashback in the same turn while our opponent didn't have the mana to exile it from grave, which is such just a narrow scenario that there's no way we're not supposed to just slam down the Storm the Festival right there and see what we get. So now all our opponent has to do is take a turn off to exile the Storm the Festival from our grave whatever turn we'd have 10 mana up. So say theoretically I waited to cast Storm the Festival till I knew I would have 10 mana next turn. Like currently I'll have 8 mana next turn. So if I waited 2 turns, so the turn that I had 9 mana and then I cast it, then I guess we would force our opponent to take the time off to just exile it that turn. It's not going to be that painful for them to just take the time off to do it, especially with a Teferi down here. Alright, pretty nice draw. Nice big Tireless Hauler here. Board is really mucked up though. And that first strike's a big deal against our Death Toucher as well. Attack with like both of these. One of these gets to kill something, and the other one just gets blocked by Catapult Fodder. So they double block one to kill it, but I kill one of their cards at least. It's like something. I actually could kill Teferi if I do that, because they only have 3 blockers. That'd be 5 creatures sending in, so they can block 3 of them. I could actually even just send 1 Decayed Zombie or not send Sporeback Wolf. Because if I send in Sporeback Wolf, now they can double block this without losing a creature to kill it. So if I just send in these 4, that's probably the best. One of them gets in for 2 damage. And the only creature they can kill would be one of these 2 if they double block it, which they probably will here. There's like no reason not to. Just trade something up here. Because they get to block with Catapult Fodder alongside whichever one of their other 2 creatures they care about least. So probably block with Catapult Fodder Graveyard Trespasser. Or not. They could value their Graveyard Trespasser higher than our Hookhand Mariner. That's also fair. Get that Tireless Hauler down. And Howling Zombie's not really going to attack in well. Just in case of like a Wrath or something, I'm just going to hold on to the zombie. It's not really going to affect the board much. The only way that it does is it lets us go wide to try to just break through their number of creatures. If we have a lot more creatures than they do, then eventually we'll get to a point where we can attack with everybody 2 turns in a row, and even if we're losing creatures, find lethal. So we have 8 mana now, need 10 for Storm the Festival, so our opponent doesn't have to exile with Honored Heirloom till later, and they can, even if they're holding mana up, they could just wait to exile until we attempt to cast it, I think. Not actually entirely sure how that interaction works. Send in these 2. Riphook Raider trades for the Glutton. Dire Strain Brawler gets in really well. Everything else doesn't attack particularly well here. Diregraf Horde dies there. Everything else dies the first strike. So we hit for 6. We do get the damage in for Blood Tithe Collector to go ahead and make them discard a card. They could be holding up a Syncopate here though. They have a lot of mana. Could be any counterspell in the game. We'll find out. They're definitely not going to counter a Hobbling Zombie, so I don't feel like trying to use that as bait. Catilda in hand. There's got to be some big instant here then they were holding a mana for. Hullbreaker Horde is. Wow. Yeah, double features certainly a rare heavy format. It's also a format you can definitely go for some splashy 3-color builds if you have the rares to back it up. I generally wouldn't go 3-color just for a card like Croaking Counterpart like we saw during our draft. I don't think we had a reason to try to go like Sultai or anything. But yeah, if you just scoop up a lot of rares contained within 3 colors, get some mana fixing like the Heirloom and some Evolving Wilds, you can definitely go for it. We've seen 4 bombs. Well, they're not all bombs, but we've seen 4 rares from our opponent less than halfway through their deck. Absolutely wild. Catilda and Hullbreaker Horror are some of the best rares in the set too. That Hullbreaker Horror now has lifelink and flying. If we draw any of our removal spells, will be good. Wolf Strike and Clear Shot can kill it because we have a Death Toucher on the board. And Grisly Ritual can kill it because it just kills any creature. I think we have 3 outs here, but that's it. Oh no, they have Coven for Double Strike too? Yeah, well that's... never mind. Probably 0 outs here. They're going to be gaining 16 life. Dealing 16 damage to us, or we chump. Oh, we can't chump because our 1 flyer is a vampire. Yeah, no, it's... we have 1 turn to draw an out then. Well, there we go, Grisly Ritual. See if they have the instant to bounce it back to our hand. Is there 1 shot, 1 opportunity? They do not. Alright. We've still got a game here. Send in these 2. Alright, just a block with catapult fodder. Yeah, I guess there was no reason to send in the Diregraf horde there, was there? Search party captain draws them a card. Pretty nice. Double strike on that dual craft trainer. I gotta have a combat trick in hand for this to work out. First strike that, die to these two. First strike that, die to these two. Alright. Now we've got these blood tokens. We've got good use for any lands we draw from this point on. I think I just want to play Tireless Hauler and use these blood. Should probably use the blood before I play the Hauler to see if there's something better to cast. Maybe we draw Brambleworm as the first draw here. Oh, Wolf Strike is great. Don't have the mana to hold it up. We're at 6 life here. I don't really want to attack with all. I could attack all. They can only block one of these two without dying, so they would take 5 instead. But then they crack back for 3 if they can kill our Tireless Hauler or counter it. Forgot that it's nighttime. Definitely important to keep in mind. So that Dire Strain Hauler is a Dire Strain Brute. Or Brawler. 6/6 Vigilance. Absolutely massive on this board state. Lunarch Veteran. Our opponent gets to gain some life now as they play creatures, and that one can come back from their grave too. They do have the Eaten Alive to get rid of our big old Brawler. Still doing pretty great on board, the better position for sure. Novice Cultist might be a little scary to play because we lose a life off of it. Rather filter it away with blood here. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to chump block with it for forever, so might as well just draw the card right now without losing the life. Our opponent's just not going to attack in until they draw something absolutely massive, and when they do, we'll Wolf Strike it. So it'll be a really long time before our opponent's attacking us. So, get that Death Toucher on the board, so now our Wolf Strike can kill anything in the game. Unruly Mob, alright. It's all good. Worst case scenario, that becomes just a really big dork on the ground and we block it with a Death Toucher. But currently it's not a big deal at all. Morbid Opportunist is super sweet here. I guess we have to worry about milling ourselves out, so maybe shouldn't have played the Opportunist. But we almost definitely kill our opponent with whatever cards we draw before we deck ourselves. Foul play another card draw card here. Get rid of the catapult fodder most importantly, so we can start attacking with multiple creatures. Hit a land here. Crack the clue. Another land. Definitely play land for turn at this point then. Don't need to hold back that much to block with. Can double block our 3/4 to kill it with either of their 2/2s. I could trade my 2/2 into one of their 2/2s. Our attacks on the ground still don't actually look that great, but now we can do it when we want. If I attack with both of these, they can only kill one of them. Then I don't have a lot of blockers though, and mob gets bigger. I guess I'm still just sending in for 3 in the sky for now. I'm not gonna be cashing in this Wolf Strike to just clear the board a little bit because I feel like I have to just keep this as a backup for another bomb. From this 3-color kind of splashy deck here. You just cannot put it past them. Life totals are getting very close to evening out here. They're down to 11 now. There's a Gluttonous Guest, though. That'll gain them life and draw them a card thanks to that blood token. Gain them a life from Lunarch Veteran as well. As well as putting down a 1/4 blocker that really slows us down again. We are going to grind through our entire libraries this game. Wait, what? Alright, double Graveyard Trespasser it is. That's kind of wild. That damages us when it exiles stuff too. That is really bad. We might have to Wolf Strike that. Because if it gets an attack and it exiles 2 more cards, we go down to 2 life. They gain another 2. Yeah, we may have to Wolf Strike that. I'm going to wait till our turn though. See if we can double spell. I guess it's pretty unlikely. The only way we could double spell is if we cast Wolf Strike and whatever we draw anyway. So we should probably just Wolf Strike it here. And now we've got Clear Shot as well. So we don't even lose our removal spell. That's excellent. And there's the Bramble Worm. Now I'm feeling really good about our prospects here. Bramble Worm with Clear Shot for a combat trick can really just get them out of nowhere next turn. If we don't have to use Clear Shot as a removal spell, we attack with Bramble Worm. And if they try to kill it at all, Clear Shot, GG. Could even maybe attack with everybody next turn since we gained the life off of the Bramble Worm. They only have 7 power on the board. Alright, Faithbound Judge is here now. I'm actually more worried about that being in their graveyard than on the board. But it takes 3 turns for them to kill us with it in the grave. I think I'm holding on to Clear Shot as a combat trick here still. Ooh, Hound Tamer, oh my god. Definitely pre-combat that. We have 7 mana up, so we can put a counter on a card, and we can Clear Shot. There's no possible way they can kill Brambleworm, right? If we Clear Shot, Brambleworm has 7 toughness, and we'd kill Faithbound Judge. They would then have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 power. 7 toughness. They could kill it if they block with literally their whole board, but then we just win because they don't have a board. So, absolutely Brambleworm. And because of the trample, that's pretty sweet. I guess we send in Blood Tithe Collector as well, because if they block with Faithbound Judge, we put the +1/+1 counter on the Blood Tithe Collector. So even on board, this attack isn't suspicious. And because we have Clear Shot backup as well, this attack definitely doesn't go wrong for us. The Faithbound Judge, it can't attack for 3 turns, so we're not worried about a crackback, and we're not worried about Sinner's Judgment. We'll definitely outrace that with this giant trampler. And the flyer here. Alright, well, we get to Clear Shot our way to victory here then. Get another counter for another damage, why not? They are down to 7. A definite attack for lethal this turn. And there's the concession. There you have it. Fought our way through 6 rares that game, but onward to victory. Alright, here we are now in round 2. Pretty keepable hand here. Got our 2-drop creature, some removal, and definitely the late game plays. Playing against green-red here, and we even draw a 3-drop creature. That works really well with Wolf Strike, the Death Touch letting us kill anything. There's a Fearful Villager from our opponent. Well, let's just get a Weaver of Blossoms down here and pass the turn, and now we can ramp into a 5-drop next turn. Should be quite good. Probably going for the Tireless Hauler. I don't want to cast the Blood Tithe Collector without damaging our opponent. Make them discard a card. It's another 3-color deck here, green, red, blue from our opponent. Get that tireless hauler down. Oops, not what I meant to do. Be really chill draft today. I don't think I'll have the time to edit this one much. I'm pretty tired today, just from work-life stuff, so be a nice chill time. Just sit back, relax, play some Go Garbage. Alright, that is quite a cluttered board. Wolf Strike really changes the math out of nowhere. Wolf Strike makes it so they have no way to kill Tireless Hauler, so we definitely send that in. Depending on what happens, that'll decide our next play. See if we get a chump. Hopefully we just get damage in and we just drop our flyer. Sweet. But if we get a chump there, then we get to go ahead and do a big Wolf Strike. So do I want a Blood Tithe Collector? They do have a Lacerate Flesh in hand, but we know that they'll just spend their next turn lacerating the Blood Tithe Collector if I play it, I guess. I think I do. I mean, it makes them discard a card too, so it's kind of a 2-for-1 here. They discard a card plus discard the Lacerate Flesh to deal with the Collector. Yep, and they spend the whole turn doing that, which means Tireless Hauler is all free to go another turn. I'm gonna try to race the Tireless Hauler, I guess. Don't have good blocks with the Sporeback Wolf. Actually, we do. We can double block, kill one of these things. Kill the bigger blocker or kill the menace card? Kill the bigger blocker. The much bigger card in general. Grisly Rituals to draw, that'll be nice. We aren't even going to need to Wolf Strike anymore, so let's just get in. We're doing more damage than they are, especially if we put down another 4-power creature here. Kessig, Wolf Rider, Pestilent Wolf. Moderately worried about Pestilent Wolf because of its ability to Death Touch. Do we Wolf Strike then? Or do we Grisly Ritual? I think we Wolf Strike that, attack with both our big creatures. If we Wolf Strike, we could even attack with the Weaver, but I think we need to. I would rather cast another creature off of it. Down to 2. Alright. They're gonna Wrath, or are they trying to crack back for lethal or something? I guess Hobbling Zombie's better against a Wrath. Still get left behind with something. Ooh, Stensia Uprising, which gives them a steady supply of chump blockers. They are at 2 life. If one creature gets in, we win. They don't have the mana to make a 3-2 here. If we can... No, we can't Grisly Ritual because we won't have the mana up. Well, there's the concession from our opponent. Alright. Just trying to see if we could find lethal there anyway. But I don't think we have lethal this turn. We have a good attack with the big high-powered creatures. We force them to chump block with an actual creature there. But I think we probably go Eccentric Farmer, Novice Occultist. Try to get it to where we can Grisly Ritual without tapping down our Weaver Blossoms next turn. So that's 2-0 now. It's kind of a weird hand, but I'll take it. Early game removal, some chump blockers to draw us cards. And our late game beef that we're so fond of. Twinblade Geist is going to start things for our opponent. Just play an Occultist, that'll trade into it. And draw us a card in the process. Homestead Courage, make that Twinblade Geist even bigger. They flash it back, they've got a 3-3 double striker. That's a pretty quick game to... or pretty quick way to win a game of Magic. Chump block 4 damage by blocking here. Sure. We'll draw a card off it too. Ooh, a Clear Shot. See if they have an instant way to counter foul play here. Have to be a combat trick. I would like them to not have the ability to have a 3-3 double striker next turn. Looked like it worked. Twinblade Geist is in the grave now. If they can't slap it onto a creature this turn, which is unlikely because they have no creatures on board right now, then we'll play our Diregraf Scavenger and exile it from the grave so it can never come back. And then we'll even have a Death Toucher on the board for this clear shot. So clear shot is now a lethal removal spell against anything. Markov Waltzer. Very threatening board state from our opponent. Diregraf Scavenger can't do anything about that first striker, and Markov Waltzer gets in for a lot of damage, buffing up 2 of their creatures each turn. So what are we going to do about this? Hold up a clear shot and we can get this Dualcraft Trainer down at the same time as the Waltzer, but that's only if it doesn't get buffed. Probably not ideal. Play a Tireless Hauler, it's too big for Dualcraft Trainer to attack into, unless they put the +1/+1 counter from Homestead Courage onto it, which I guess they will. Then we can double block, they kill one of our creatures, we kill theirs. That seems fine. I don't think just holding up clear shot's going to go particularly well here. I guess it could. We could get really lucky off of it. Maybe this is too bold, but we can just go like a Cultist, hold up clear shot. And our worst case scenario is we're chump blocking with a Cultist, taking 2 in the sky from Waltzer. You'd have to play another haste creature to put one of Markov Waltzer's +1s on somebody else. Yeah, there's no way we can 2-for-1 clear shot here. And Brutal Cathar is going to live up to its name here, as it tends to do. I suppose we can go ahead and shoot the Brutal Cathar. Be kind of cool. Shoot Brutal Cathar with clear shot, get Diregraf Scavenger back, exile another card from their grave. It doesn't deal with the big problems of Dualcraft Trainer or Markov Waltzer, but it deals with the new problem of Brutal Cathar. We're going to Homestead Courage onto the Markov Waltzer. Alright. They no longer have Coven then, so no double striking coming in here. So we can wait on the clear shot. Okay, so if we get a Death Toucher back onto the board, it still won't matter because they have too much first striking power. So we definitely have to go for the chump block here. But we should still go ahead and pop back our Brutal Cathar, or our Diregraf Scavenger. Pop their Brutal Cathar to get our Scavenger back. They're going to go ahead and Flame Blast Bolt. Alright, 1-for-1, I'm all good with that. That is a problem though. Not having the Scavenger to block the Cathar. And yeah, things are going to be painful here. Luckily, because they put the Courage onto the Flyer, Tireless Hauler is guaranteed big enough to block Dualcraft Trainer. At most, it's going to be 4. Brutal Cathar is only 2, so I guess we just go Tireless Hauler here. Immolation on the Dualcraft Trainer. Alright, that'll get it in. Looks like it's over here. Some big, massive attacks, and all I can do is chump block. Yeah, no, that's just game. Just a great aggressive Boros deck here with a lot of removal. Removal slapped onto their creatures too. Always going to be hard to deal with. Now the Flyer kills us single-handedly. We could block with Blood Tithe Collector, but then we only have 2 creatures on board against their 4. That is definite game. Here we are, round 4, 2-1 so far. Pretty excellent start. 2, 3, 4, 5 curve. If we can hit the lands for it. Foul Play can help us do that with its ability to draw a card. But pretty scary start from our opponent. They're going to start playing creatures turn 1 with Lantern Bearer, the 1/1 flyer that can come back as an aura later. Really good card. Blue-black, uh-oh. They're curving out on us with unblockable creatures, Lantern Bearer and Suspicious Stowaway. Gonna go ahead and foul play the Stowaway. Can't be blocked, draws them a card every time it hits us. They draw, then have to discard, although during the night, they just straight draw a card. Very threatening card. Malevolent Hermit. Another fantastic card from our opponent. We'll just go ahead and get a nice 3/3 Hound Tamer here to block that on the ground, but then it still comes back as a 2/2 flyer, making all of their non-creature spells uncounterable as well. Alright, sending in for 1 with the Lantern Bearer. Shady Traveler's down, another hard to block creature because of the Menace. We're just going to keep the curve coming with a Hookhand Mariner here. We've got quite a lot of creatures on the ground, so we can block these ground troops. Well, we'll keep taking this Lantern Bearer damage for now. Blood Tithe Collector. I would really like to play Tireless Hauler. I think we discard a Cultist in this matchup. And Wolf Strike is the draw. It's interesting. I don't think I want to do it yet. I think I still just want to curve out our creatures. And now I do actually have to pay attention to Malevolent Hermit's ability to counter a non-creature spell unless I pay 3. I'll have to hold up 3 extra mana whenever I want to Wolf Strike, if they have the mana up to sack that. So we need to hit a land here to Wolf Strike. And there's the land. Okay, so we can definitely Wolf Strike if we need to, so we Wolf Strike to kill Collector when they try to double block one of these, I guess. Although if I attack both and then they just let it all through and take 8. Actually, if they try to double block, Hound Tamer's an onboard trick to ruin their blocks, so they're not going to try to double block. They'll either chump block or take it all, and if they take it all, they're hitting me with the Menace creature. I'm taking 3, going down to 9. I think that's worth it, because we are winning the race there. If I hit them for 9 and then we just take 3, because they're planning on still having Blood Tithe Collector when they're accounting for the race here. They're thinking, oh, we'll hit for 4 plus the Menace damage. Also, I forgot about Vigilance. So with Vigilance, we definitely attacked there. Just going to hold on to Wolf Strike here and do it during their turn so that we can flip to Knight, make all of our stuff bigger. It does make their Predator bigger as well, but that's not a big deal. Our creatures are still good at double blocking that. So attacking with just the Collector and the Lantern Bearer. We'll see if they have a counter spell for Wolf Strike or an instant speed removal spell. I would certainly hope not on either of those things. Looking at the Hermit, reading the Hermit there. Alright, we'll pay the 3. Get that out of here. Take 1 damage. So they crack the Hermit so they can bring it back as a blocker or attacker. It can't block Riphook Raider. For 6, 7 mana is enough to throw a counter onto a card and still play a Hobbling Zombie. They're at 10 life. They have to block 2 creatures here. They have to get their chumps in. And they might not even know that this is a chump here. They probably do. But it is a chump thanks to the +1 counter. And I totally forgot. All of my wolves have trample somehow. Does Untamed Pump give every wolf you have trample? Other wolves and werewolves you control have trample. Good lord, that was just lethal no matter what. What a massive game, massive swing from the Untamed Pup. Round 5 now, we are 3-1 so far. This is a risky keep because we need to hit a land. We actually need to hit multiple lands, but I believe in the heart of the cards today. We get to drop a Hound Tamer on turn 3 again. We'll see if it can't do some spicy things for us. And we do hit a land, so we know we're getting to our 3 drops, if nothing else. Another blue-black deck here. Starting with a Selhoff and Tumor, they can discard a creature to draw a card. Get this Hound Tamer out. Biolume Egg. If they sacrifice that, they will get a 4/4 Serpent out of it, alongside whatever benefits they got from their sacrifice spell. Alright, no 4th mana, unfortunately. Can't really attack in then. Just drop a Hobbling Zombie and pass. Biolume Egg blocks the Hound Tamer, the 0/4 body also being quite relevant here. 4 mana from our opponent. Memory Deluge. Excellent draw spell. Draw the best 2 cards out of their top 4 and then flash it back for 7. Draw the best out of their top 7. There's the 4th mana here, so we can definitely get a Hound Tamer attack in, as well as Hobbling Zombie. Alright, no blocks. They know we can just put a counter on and kill the egg if they block there, so we'll go ahead and get our 4/4 down here. I will be interested in exiling the Memory Deluge from their grave before they can recast it, but they'll need 7 mana to recast it, so we still have some time to just keep playing our highest power creatures for now, keeping the pressure on our opponent. So there's a Vivisection to sack the egg, draw 3 cards, and get a 4/4 out here. Pretty great combo, and the Crawl from the Cellar to put it right back in their hand and make the Selhoff and Tumor a 2/4 so we can trade for the Hobbling Zombie even. Really nice stuff from our opponent. Alright, so still on 4 mana, so we're definitely playing Diregraf Scavenger here. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my god, even I thought that was just a sick combo from our opponent. The egg doesn't, it's not flipping out of, it's not putting a 4/4 token on the board. It's coming back from your graveyard to the battlefield flipped. So if you put it back in your hand, it's not in your graveyard anymore. It's not going to come back as the Biolume Serpent. So the Shame Scoop from our opponent. But I thought it was a sick combo too. That's so sad. Oh no. Sack the Biolume Egg to the Vivisection, bring it back to their hand with Crawl from the Cellar. Now that it's in their hand, it can't come back from the graveyard transformed. They just don't have the blockers to survive here. It could have just been a legit scoop too. I mean, after that, they're kind of just dead. Because we attack all, they can block there, but then I can buff the kill. They take 6, they're down to 8. Yeah, they're really on the back foot. Or they're down to 9. I'm bad at math. Wow, that was really unfortunate for our opponent, but I'm glad I saw somebody do that, so if I draft a blue-black exploit deck, I don't do the same thing with the Biolume Egg in the future. Round 6 now, we are 4-1, pretty great record for this deck no matter what happens. Because this deck is very, very average, we don't have any bomby stuff of our own going on. We have one single rare in the deck, and it's a pretty average rare. So definitely below par in terms of double feature decks. So I'm happy with whatever happens here. We just 4-3. So I'm keeping another risky hand here. But this one I think is even less risky than our last hand because of Weaver Blossoms. Because of Weaver Blossoms, if we hit just one land, then we're really good because we put Weaver Blossoms on board, wait for it to flip, and then we've got 5 mana. I guess it actually does... It balances out to being just as risky because it dies to like removal from our opponent. Our opponent has an excellent deck that is curving out hard on us though, so we are going to get max punished, and that is going to be a loss this round for sure. Just a great blue-red spell stack here with the Mythic Rare Bomb as well. That's going to exile anything we dump in our grave and let them cast more spells off the top of their library. So Moonrager Slash off the top for extra value. Flame Breather going off with the cheap instants and sorceries. And it's going to be too little too late here at 8 life. Alright, round 7, what could be the final round. This is going to be our third 2-land hand that we're keeping in a row. But this one has multiple 2-drops. And Eccentric Farmer on 3, so again, if we make it to 3, we make it to 4 thanks to Eccentric Farmer. And this time we actually have turn 2 plays, and we have naturally drawn the 3rd land here, which is going to make me feel a lot more comfortable about this hand. There's a Fell Stinger from our opponent, turn 3 to go with their Doomed Dissenter, an excellent combo, draw 2, lose 2 life, and spit out a 2/2 zombie. So quite a good start from our opponent here. I think I want to Eccentric Farmer here over Hound Tamer. We are certainly not looking to be on the aggressive here with our opponent on the play and a great Death Toucher on their board. So I just want to set up my future plays, make sure I have the mana for them. And now we do hit our 4th land from the Eccentric Farmer. There's a Desperate Farmer on our opponent's board, so we might have some Farmer Wars in the future. That'd be cool. I'll go ahead and trade the Fellstinger for Sporeback Wolf here. The reason that they're so they're so okay with trading here is because they have the Desperate Farmer turning into the 4/3 Lifelinker when one of our cards dies, plus the Blood Fountain to potentially get the Fellstinger back later. But a 4/3, not super hard to trade with in our deck. We have a lot of 3/3s and 4/4s and stuff. So, I mean, we could even just put a 2/2 down, and then we're trading a 2/3 into it, right? We double block it. Problem is they have Silverbolt, so whatever we play here is probably just dying to the Silverbolt. So the Silverbolt did really kind of muck up my plans of blocking Harvester easily. Now, we're probably just running down Mariner, and then they're just blowing it up with Silverbolt. We could alternatively play Sporeback Wolf and Foul Play, but we're just foul playing the zombie. Had I known they had Silverbolt, would have been way better to just not trade with Fellstinger. And that way we could foul play the Desperate Farmer before it could flip. Didn't think we would have to. Yeah, that was definitely a misplay. They're black-white. I should have expected just any kind of removal, not necessarily Silverbolt, to ruin the Desperate Farmer killing plans. But now we've got a Hobbling Zombie. Should work just as well. I'll have to use removal on it, or we can just block that Harvester. So yeah, not ideal to trade with stuff when they have a Desperate Farmer on the board. Even if I had future blocking plans, just made things a lot harder for myself. Baneblade Scoundrel, and it's nighttime, so it's even bigger. 5/4. When it becomes blocked, blocking creatures -1/-1. Whenever a creature blocking it dies, I lose a life. That's threatening. That is very threatening. I don't have a way to kill that. I don't have a way to block it well either. Can I double spell here? I can, but only if I cast Foul Play on a zombie token. But that would turn it back into a 4/3. It would still have the ability, so I still wouldn't block it well. It's only one less power. So probably just play our best card here, the Morbid Opportunist. So I can draw some cards and try to get lands to make it to Brambleworm and Storm the Festival mana. Try to hit something big enough to block the Baneclaw Marauder. So we're cashing in this Decayed Zombie to draw a card. And then we might even cash in Eccentric Farmer next turn. Wolf Strike. Ooh, Wolf Strike, and it is nighttime. That is 4 damage. That is big enough. So I guess we are not blocking with Eccentric Farmer, because then we won't have a 2-power creature on the board. There is Downfall on the Morbid Opportunist, so we won't draw a card off of the Wolf Strike anymore. But we can still do it so we have a safer life total here. I don't even think we want to attack with Eccentric Farmer. I'm just going to cast Sporeback Wolf and pass. We attack with Eccentric Farmer, sure, we hit them for 4, but then they crack back with that 2/2 zombie. Sporeback Wolf will just be a 2/2 blocker, so it doesn't hold it off like the Eccentric Farmer does. The Farmer does, since it has higher toughness than the zombie has power. Sun Gold Sentinel. 3/2 for only 2 mana, and it exiles a card from our grave every time it enters the battlefield or attacks, and if they get Coven, they can make it unblockable by a certain color, and hexproof from a certain color. A Welcoming Vampire too, alright. Opponent's dropping some rares on us now. I would love to join them with Storm the Festival, but it's probably more important to just foul play that Welcoming Vampire right now. Get the flyer off the board so we don't take any damage from it, and stop them from potentially drawing more cards next turn. Still got a shot here. It is looking good for our opponent. They have Blood Fountain and a ton of great options to use with Blood Fountain, so our opponent has the card advantage, but Storm the Festival into Brambleworm, these next 2 turns could really change things around. Unfortunately, again, because there's just so much graveyard exile in the format, Storm the Festival is never going to get flashbacked. It just costs too much mana. They will definitely have a way to exile it by then. There's a Diregraf Scavenger right there. They have the Sun Gold Sentinel on the board, being able to exile it when it attacks. There's no possible way we're ever going to flash back a Storm the Festival, or even gain life off Brambleworm if it dies. So here comes Sun Gold Sentinel. So maybe we do get a trade-off with Sun Gold Sentinel at least. So makes it slightly more likely our Storm the Festival will not get exiled from grave, but they still have access to the Blood Fountain. We still need to keep that in mind. Could play Hookhand Mariner instead and draw a card. A 4/4 plus draw card is pretty on par with how much work Storm the Festival on average would do. Last time we saw it get a 5-drop and a land, so it's kind of the same. 4/4 plus a card draw, so I'm just going to do that. I should card draw right now so I could play land for turn if we draw it, because we want to hit every land drop to potentially make it to 10 for Storm the Festival. I should have cracked the, because I decided I was going to crack the clue token during our turn, should have cracked it before I cast anything in case I drew something better to play than Mariner. Trade off this Death Toucher here, trades into Mariner or Hound Tamer. We're at 9 life, we kind of have to. Rather have Hound Tamer out than Mariner. So Blood Fountain has even more options. I feel like they already have plenty of excellent options, so letting them also choose a Diregraf Scavenger if they want, not that bad. They probably choose Fellstinger, because they have a 2/2 zombie token to sack, and then maybe like Welcoming Vampire and just get a mountain of card draw going on. Make sure they still have a million plays throughout this game. We'll see. They have so many options. They're going to go Fellstinger, Sungold, Sentinel. It's like they know about our Storm the Festival. Just want to get cards to exile stuff from our grave. There's an Eaten Alive, so we can stop that from happening. Even offer trade just attacking in here. But if we attack in without paying any mana, then Hound Tamer would just eat the Sungold Sentinel, so they would never block, unless they just don't realize that. And then we'd be leaving blockers down. That feels really bad. Let's just play Brambleworm. I don't want to play Storm the Festival when they've got this Sentinel on board. So we'll just play Brambleworm. And then we actually probably have to Eaten Alive the Death Toucher so that Brambleworm can do some work. So here comes the Fellstinger, sacrificing the 2/2 zombie. They draw 2 cards, take 2 damage, but they've gained so much life they're all good. They've got 5 cards in hand here. Again, opponent certainly has more cards than us. Hopefully our cards are enough bigger than theirs that we can get there. The problem is they're a color pair that has access to a lot of great removal, so they draw any of it to kill Brambleworm, and it doesn't matter how big your card is if it dies to 1/1 removal. Alright, a Panicked Bystander. Currently, it's looking like Brambleworm's going to do some work here. I'm even going to drop Novice Cultist and sack that to the Eaten Alive just to discard it, draw a card as if we're using a blood token here. But this way I even get to hold up mana to put a +1/+1 counter on a card, which is awesome. Get in for 1 extra damage or pretend we're holding up an instant here. I'm not going to bluff, I'm just going to get that extra 1 point. We're a green-black deck. Well, we could make them scared of a Bleed Dry or something, I guess, but it probably wouldn't change their lines of play. There is Sigarda, so we're going to need a Wolf Strike or something to now kill that. This doesn't give any form of protection to them, right? Whenever Sigarda attacks, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, look at the top 5 cards of your library, they can reveal a human from among them, put it into their hands. So if they have Coven, then they'll draw cards, but otherwise just a Flying Trampler that buffs the humans. Yeah, doesn't give the humans any protection. We can trade off with the Sungold Sentinel here, but then we would lose Hound Tamer's ability, which is good. But if we don't trade off here, we're taking a lot of damage, plus Storm the Festival would be getting exiled from our grave. Brambleworm can block Sigarda all by itself, which is nice. I think we block here and then just Storm next turn. It is rough losing our mana sink, though. That's our only creature big enough to trade because their stuff all gets +1/+1. Oh, good god. Now Courier Bat combo with Panic Bystander, pick up any creature from their grave, see what they want. They could pick up Sungold Sentinel again to be annoying, or Diregraf Scavenger it is to get a Death Toucher against our Brambleworm. So let's Storm the No, let's not. If we Storm the Festival right now, they're going to Diregraf Scavenger it for sure. So we just Weaver Blossoms here and pass. And Brambleworm has to just get held off as a blocker now, because if we attack in, we take 6 in the sky and we're at 10 life. Is this Blade Brand? They're going to Blade Brand me with this Courier Bat? If they have Blade Brand, I can't win anyway, right? So do we just call the bluff? If they have anything that combat tricks up into Brambleworm, they can just attack us with Courier Bat 5 turns in a row and kill us. So it really doesn't matter. There's like no point in playing around it. Is it a 5 damage or a -5/-5 thing here? Baneblade Scoundrel? Oh, it's to flip the Cackling Culprit. So they have another Death Toucher, I guess? Okay, we have 5, 6, 7, 8 mana, but we only have 3 greens, so we can't Clear Shot and Storm the Festival. We can Clear Shot here, which is pretty good. It's not good enough to get aggressive. Actually, because of Weaver Blossom, we can cast both. So do we Storm the Festival and just hold up Clear Shot at instant speed? I think we do. Diregraf Horde and Diregraf Scavenger it is. Hit the Welcoming Vampire. Hit the Sun Gold Sentinel. The Courier Bat. Get anything that could find any form of evasion out of there. We've got a large board. And if we hit a land, we have enough mana to flashback Storm the Sentinel next turn, or Storm the Festival next turn, which would be huge. Can't attack in here because they block with a Death Toucher, unless I Clear Shot, but if I Clear Shot, I don't have Clear Shot to use on Sigarda. So I don't think I do. Could have Clear Shotted right there to play around them having like an indestructible trick on Sigarda, but as long as Bramblewyrm's on the board, we don't have to kill Sigarda. And if they ever use removal on Bramblewyrm, we can just Clear Shot our Diregraf Scavenger to kill Sigarda. Oh, here comes a Wrath, I guess. Coven from Sigarda as well, so they can do big stuff. Commentary. They can pick up a human from the top 5, put it in their hand. They get a Morbid Opportunist. All right. So, free kill there. Trade there. Trade there. Cackling Culprit just gets in, though. Is there any way to kill Cackling Culprit? Not easily. We'd have to triple block it, or put our Death Toucher on that instead. And Beyblade Scoundrel's ability makes it so we can't block that well. Can't do like a double block and try to kill that. We'll just get -1/-1 on our blockers. Maybe would actually rather kill the Culprit? No, because it doesn't make us lose life. It just makes them gain life. Whereas Scoundrel during the night does make us lose life, so that is more threatening, I think. But yeah, I think we chump block so that we're blocking everything here. So see what kind of weird trick they've got in hand here. Defenestrate. Destroy target creature without flying to make sure that Sigarda can stay on board. We can't counter that. And Clear Shot can still kill Sigarda. Killing Sigarda with something else? Actually, no, it can't. It cannot. So if we want to kill Sigarda, we have to do it right now before our creatures die. So yeah, let's do that. Alright, that was an interaction for sure. Come on, land off top. Storm the Festival #2, let's go. We can block their Morbid Opportunist, but Cackling Culprit's going to start getting in. Land off top it is. Storm the Festival round 2. Best cards out of our top 5, we'll see what they are. Tireless Hauler, Tireless Hauler. Seems good. Opponent still has a great board state here, though, because they attack him with Culprit, and the only way we could kill it is if we double block, and if we double block, they kill both of our Brawlers. But they don't attack in, they just want to trade on blocks here. So we just get in with Brawlers. Call it a day. One of these trades off for Culprit, but the other one's just going to keep getting in throughout the rest of the game. I gotta say, my prediction was wrong. We got to flashback our Storm the Festival, and I'm so glad that we did, because it was a huge hit on the second run. That being said, Morbid Opportunist from our opponent, they can still very much draw a ton of cards here and just maintain their kind of good position. So we don't have any Graveyard Recursion, correct? Circle of Confinement, that doesn't really matter. No, we don't have any Graveyard Recursion. Well, 8 cards left in the deck. And they only have 11. Wow, this is going long. Alright, so Blossom-Clad Werewolf is a goner. We have one non-land card left in our deck. We've drawn like a mad lad. There's one land engraved. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 10. There's 7 lands in these 8 cards. Top deck champion today. Yeah, we have no graveyard recursion. Let's just gain that life. And we have to hope that a single Dire Strain Brawler can take us to victory here against the next 11 cards from our opponent's deck, because that's all we've got left. That is all we've got left. Oop, there it is. There's the last non-land card in the deck. Let's go. So what do they do now? They could double block a Cultist, I guess. Kill it without losing a creature. But then they would take 6 from Brawler. So they chump block there. They do a little bounce there. A creature's going to die here no matter what, because they're just going to chump with Trainee, right? So now is when we cash in the Decayed Zombies. Because it guarantees Blood Tithe Collector goes off. And we actually get a point of damage or 2 in here. Ooh, hit for 8. All right. They're down to 4, and we're going to have a 3 power flyer out. They draw the card. We'll have them discard a land here from Blood Tithe Collector. It's going to be sweet. There's the land discarded. We will pass turn. And now we're going to pretend that these next 6 cards are all non-lands. We're just going to hold them in hand because we're not going to have anything to do with our mana anyway. So we're just going to be like, oh yeah, I'm drawing straight gas. Drawing straight gas, opponent. What are you going to do about it? Go to 1 here, maybe? Go to 1. All right. If nothing else, they need a creature. Or we can attack with all 3. Well, there's removal for the Blood Tithe Collector. Alright, Morbid Opportunist trying to run all the way to victory here. Just digging for that last removal spell they need to survive here. Or last creature. Oh no! Actually, they need a bomb to live here because they have to find a way to start killing us. If they just keep chumping the Dire Strain Brawler, they get to a point where they mill out before us. They have 4 cards left in their deck. We attack with Dire Strain Brawler now, though they block with a Morbid Opportunist. We have 3 cards left, they have 4 cards left. And if Novice Occultist dies, we both draw cards, so I don't flip the game on them and make them mill first. I don't have a way to do that, do I? If I attack with... No, if I attack with Dire Strain Brawler and they trade with Adversary, they gain a bunch of life and draw a card, then they have 3 cards left in their deck, but then they just kill us too fast because I can't block with Occultist without milling out before them. So they win the mill war there. Actually, no, because if I chump with Occultist, they also draw a card. Alright. If they just bounce off Morbid Opportunist here, they're good. If they trade, we have a chance at milling them before us. Because we know our deck is all lands, I think we have to just do this and hope we get something to die and make Morbid Opportunist mill them. And we have 4 cards in hand. We have not revealed any of them, so our opponent has to consider we could have like a combat trick here or something. Unfortunately, they are just going to take the bounce block there, so we have no shot. We are going to mill before them and we have no more spells in the deck. Unless they start attacking us. If they start attacking us, we have a shot. But I doubt it. Just hold the fort up. Oh my god, what? You can draw a card, opponent. Go ahead and draw a card. Nice little card for you. Nice little present, little gift. Hope you enjoy that card. 2 cards left in their deck now. But now they can just attack in the sky 2 turns because they drew into Bloodvial Purveyor. Dang it! If it weren't a 9 power flyer, we had a shot here. But that kills us before they mill. Actually, no, they have 1 card left in their deck. They have to block Novice Occultist, and they don't have anything that can block it without killing it. So we both go to 0 cards in library. They have nothing that can block Dire Strain Brawler without killing it. They have to block here. They have to kill both our creatures and draw a card. 0 cards in library. They have to kill a creature and draw a card here. They actually have to kill both, but... Alright. Alright. We both draw a card here. Both have no cards in our library, but we're passing turn to them first. And that is game. That is our 5th win. That's going to give us the 1,500 gems that we paid into the event. Right back an excellent record from the gold garbage deck that earns its name. Just one janky RNG heavy rare storm the festival, but we saw it really go off that game in an absolute wild way to end that one, milling our opponent off of their morbid opportunist. Alright, here we are now in round 8. We're 5-2, so whatever happens, get our entry fee back and just keep all these sweet cards. This is a very risky hand, especially because we're on the play. We only have 1 color. All the 2-landers I've kept have had a forest and a swamp at least. I think I will mulligan this one. This looks definitely a bit better here. I think we get rid of Diregraf Horde. The difference between 4 and 5 mana is quite a bit in terms of when we can cast those cards. And Storm the Festival is going to be hopefully higher impact than Diregraf Horde for like a 5 or 6 kind of game ender card. Your opponent takes a couple mulligans down to 5 cards in hand, but they are on the draw at least. We do have the 4 mana we need for Hookhand Mariner now. We have Foul Play giving us a clue token potentially to help hit another one, but we've even drawn another land, so we have 5, only need 1 more to get to Storm the Festival. There's a Bird Admirer from our opponents. I would rather just play our Mariner to attack in than Foul Play that right now, but I'll probably Foul Play that if it doesn't flip to night here. Ooh, or the Kessig Naturalist. I don't actually know which is better to Foul Play, Kessig Naturalist or Bird Admirer, but I think I'm going to do it to the Naturalist, because during the night, Naturalist buffs their whole field +1/+1. During the night, Bird Admirer is a 3/5, which is bigger at face value, but we don't care about reach at all in our deck. We have like 1 flyer in the whole deck. So I think that the abilities on Lord of the Oldenwald are just going to be better, more important. So we're going to Foul Play that one. We're going to do it before we attack so they can't like triple block, try to kill Mariner here. Something weird. Alright, cool. Really easy attack too, because we're getting a Sporeback Wolf down to block the Bird Admirer. So only the Snarling Wolf can hit us back in retaliation, and that's only if they pay the 2 mana to buff it up. Alright, pass turn, make the Wing Shredder a 3/5. Cannot block a Rip Hook Raider unless they double block it, which they'd have to buff Snarling Wolf to do, but they probably have nothing else to do with their mana anyway. So we attack with Rip Hook Raider, they double block, and I do a 1-for-1 trade. That doesn't seem ideal to me. For now, I'm just going to play Storm the Festival and see what we've got here. Blood Tithe Collector's a little awkward when your opponent hasn't lost life, but it's definitely better than a land. Still a big flyer. Still a nice card. Yeah, we can't attack here, because they can pre-combat buff the Snarling Wolf. 3/3, 3/5, we only kill 1 with our 6/4. Defend the Celestius, so he even had a bigger trick, so I'm very happy I didn't attack. Defend the Celestius could have been absolutely wild. It still gives them a big old 5/7 Wing Shredder. I love how I said I wasn't really going to be worried about that reach, because we only got the 1 flyer in our deck, but we did draw the 1 flyer, and now they've buffed the reach creature all the way to a 5/7, so it is going to amount to a lot here. This can be buffed into a 4/4 now. So that could trade for any of our creatures, doesn't feel great. Probably just going to go ahead and cash in our Occultist, see what we draw into. I don't need to chump block yet, but I'd like to draw some more cards. We are running low at this point, and Morbid Opportunist is going to be excellent, helping us make it to that Storm the Festival mana. Weaver Blossoms helps there too. Could just play Weaver Blossoms and we get there, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if we don't flip today. But I think it's okay to flip today, because I really want to get Morbid Opportunist out here. I don't want to hold off on the Opportunist to where things might be dying without an Opportunist on board. That's just lost value. Gotta get all the value in the world, gotta hoard it. Must acquire value. Alright, our opponent is just gonna flip right back to night, so Werewolf is flipped. It is Storm the Festival time. Round 2. Fight. Big old 6/6 Vigilance, yeah. Nice Diregraf Scavenger. Death Toucher. Very nice Storm the Festival hits here. Unfortunately, thanks to that Defend the Celestials, Wing Shredder's still an excellent blocker on this board state. Rending Flame on the Opportunist, so we won't be drawing any extra cards off of that one. And another Snarling Wolf. Alright, ooh, a Hookhand Mariner, another one. Really just need to draw anything to kill this Wing Shredder with. So Clear Shot, Wolf Bite, any of that kind of stuff. Wolf Strike is what it's called. And then we open this board state right up and just pummel over for lethal real quickly. But until then, Wing Shredder's doing big stuff. Like, we attack all, Wing Shredder kills our 6/4. So we cash in the 6/4, that dies 2. Actually, that dies 2. That gets blocked well. They take, what, 8? I don't think we're there yet. But we're getting really close to wanting to attack all. Might be greedy just waiting for Wolf Strike or Clear Shot here, but I feel like either of those cards are just like immediate game. We are taking 4 a turn from Runebound Wolf, so we can't sit here forever. But at the same time, I don't think that attacking every turn gets in there. We have to do a lot of math to figure that out, though. I hate that kind of combat math. Okay, so we lose Rip Hook Raider without doing anything. We lose another Rip Hook Raider to trade with Snarling Wolf because they buff that up to a 4/4. So these are both gone. Snarling Wolf is gone. This one's going to be a 3/3. That trades with that. So these are gone. That doesn't block well. That blocks kills there. Or that they can double block there. Take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They could take 8 and still have Wing Shredder and Runebound Wolf and kill everything we have except these 3. And then we attack it again next turn, and they still have Wing Shredder and Runebound Wolf? Or just Wing Shredder? They still have Wing Shredder, and we're attacking with 3 things. They've taken 8 life, they're down to 6. Block there. Take 5, they're down to 3. Attack again, block there. Down to 1. Yeah, no, we can't. They can kill our whole board if we just keep attacking. And still have like life to spare. If they block the way that I imagined there, and I might not even have found the best blocks. Like, I'm considering like Wing Shredder to kill that, Snarling Wolf to kill that. I actually no, in my mind I gave them double Wing Shredder blocks, which is not a real thing they can do. Well, now we've drawn Brambleworm, so now I'm just going to be a doofus, and we're just going to see what happens. Show me the money. Show me the best blocks, because my brain found probably not the best blocks at all, because my brain came up with a block where you blocked Rip Hook Raider with Wing Shredder, but also double blocked Dire Strain Brawler with Wing Shredder and Runebound Wolf. So I lost my mind there. Did not come up with an actual real block that's possible. But yeah, I feel like with a Brambleworm backup now, just like one big 7/6 trample, now, even if my math were correct and they could somehow block 2 things with 1 Wing Shredder, I could still turn it into lethal over a couple turns, because now we have to account for also there's a 7/6 trampler attacking next turn. Math is for blockers. I should have never done any math. That was where I failed here. So they can double block Dire Strain Brawler, only lose 1 of the wolves. It's actually pretty nice. Go down to 1. Play Brambleworm. Play the land so we can gain more life off it. There's the concession from our opponent. Okay. Alright. Probably should have done that attack earlier, but for some reason my brain said that they could block twice with 1 creature. Either way, we are now 6-2 with the Gold Garbage deck. Incredibly happy with the record from this deck. Did not think it would do this well during the draft, and now we're just up 500 gems. And of course, keep all the garbage. Here we are in the final round, final boss, win or lose the last game of Magic that we'll be playing today. We are on the play with a good curve of 2-drop into 3-drop, even have the Weaver of Blossoms to help ramp into some bigger cards, and a Wolf Strike to kill our opponent's first threat. Or their worst threat. So happy with the hand here. We'll see how it works out. A little scared to see Voldaren Epic here from our opponent. Pretty solid one drop there, giving them that blood token to filter through their other cards. They are on red-green. Novice Occultist luckily blocks that 1/1 quite well. Now there's an Obsessive Astronomer, another great card at filtering. Whenever it flips from day to night, night to day, they can discard up to 2 cards to draw that many cards. Now that we have a Diregraf Horde, we could ramp into it by playing Weaver Blossoms here, but I think I'd rather play Hound Tamer and just hold 4 mana up next turn to attack into their board state. And even if they play another creature with a Wolf Strike in hand, it's pretty likely that we can turn it into an advantageous attack. Hungry Ridgewolf. So I guess not. Clear Shot, if we had Clear Shot in hand, we could still attack easily. But now they have 3 power even after we Wolf Strike something away, which means if they block with literally all of their creatures, then we could clear their board, but also lose our Hound Tamer. So that, I mean, might be worth it, but potentially not. I guess if they block with everybody, it's probably more worth it to keep Wolf Strike in hand and just put a counter on Hound Tamer and kill both their 2/2s. I'm actually, yeah, I'm pretty fine with that. Alright, so they are just going to take it here. Take 3. We'll play a Weaver Blossoms, so we have a 2/3 down to block their 2/2s, so we don't have to worry much about retaliation. And so we just have more creatures out and some mana. Just use Wolf Strike later. None of these creatures are important enough to throw a Wolf Strike at. Tovolar is. Tovolar is indeed. We will Wolf Strike Tovolar now. So there's a blood token, discard a land, draw a card. 2 cards in hand here. But they are tapped out. They are going to attack in with Hungry Ridgewolf. We could take a 1-for-1 trade for Weaver. We have 5 mana already, so we probably don't need more. But this Ridgewolf is going to turn back into just a 2/2 later. However, if I don't take this trade, they're going to draw a card. So either they draw a card, or we 1-for-1 trade. So I think I just want to shut off them drawing a card here. 1-for-1 trade rather than giving them any extra value. So with Wolf Strike, what do I do here? I'm going to shoot Tovolar. Pretty sure I get to get an attack off with Hound Tamer. What's the worst that can happen? They block with the 2/2 and the 1/1 and I clear shot Tovolar. They have no board left. But then we don't have Hound Tamer left to use its ability. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we attack here. We're still in the attacking position. Highly doubt they'll block with Tovolar, but we'll see. Okay. Ooh, I see what they're doing here. Oh, I didn't think of this. I was going to say, they can't... I was like, I figure they can't really block this way super well, because we can just put a counter on Hound Tamer, right? And just kill those 2. So they probably wouldn't do that. But the problem is if I do that, I'm not casting a spell this turn, so it goes to nighttime. So Tovolar is now flipped. They can do the fire breathing effect on it and draw a card off of it. So, as awkward as it looks here, when I could just kill both of these without losing a card, I think I just Wolf Strike Tovolar still. I don't know. I'm going to give them 1 attack with Tovolar. What's the worst that can happen? Let's find out. Watch, it's going to be really bad. It's going to be super bad. Because Tovolar doesn't even have straight trample. They have to dump mana into Tovolar to get that card draw. Because we can chump with Novice Occultist if they don't put any mana in. If they don't give Tovolar trample. And yeah, when you think about just the maths of that deal there, I kill 2 of their cards, and then they get to draw 1 card more. So it's still a deal in my favor in terms of card advantage. We killed 2, they got 1. Oh. My bad about the notifications. I will respond to that as soon as we beat this opponent and get our 7-win run. Alright, so we can definitely kill Tovolar with Wolf Strike. So we can Morbid Opportunist first to also draw a card. Just live the dream here. I'm feeling real good. Draw a card. We even have trample on the attack here. No blocks. Down to 9. Death Touch the Opportunist, but we're at 16, so we'll just take it. They don't have the card draw out anymore. We have a single 2/2 out. Hound Tamer is Trample, so we can guaranteed hit to get the Blood Tithe Collector going. Get rid of their last card in hand in case it's something good. It might be better to Diregraf or just get 2 Decayed Zombies out to make sure it's easier to find lethal. It's pretty easy to find lethal with a 3-power flyer against a Werewolf deck. They won't have a lot to be able to block it with. Alright, so a natural Moonrise to flip to Night, attack in for 3, we'll take it. We attack all here, they block there, we trample over, get lethal. And there's the concession. That is a 7-win run with the 1 rare. Cool garbage deck, just some nice, consistently powerful cards at their respective mana costs. Pretty solid stuff from the deck here. The removal was very helpful too. The green removal that we had particularly was quite good. Weirdly enough, in a black deck, you always expect all the black removal to be exceptional, but we don't have like Eddy, Bleed Dries. Eaten Alive and Foul Play were good, as was Grizzly Ritual, that was fine, but Clear Shot and Wolf Strike were absolutely excellent here. And then yeah, just a consistent curve of great cards. Sporeback Wolves were good on 2, even the Occultist just helping us draw cards as we chump in the early game. Morbid Opportunist went absolutely off, as you would expect. Hound Tamer really showed up. Hound Tamer, we drew Hound Tamer a lot, and it was good. Every time we drew it, Hound Tamer did a lot of work. The Hook Hand Mariners and the Scavenger being great 4-drops, the Tireless Haulers being nice beefy creatures to try to close out the game, the Hoarder and Blood Tithe Collector doing their job, and Brambleworm and Storm the Festival at the top end being our big explosive bomby plays. Certainly did their job too. So 7-2 it is. We played as much Magic as we possibly could. 9 rounds of Magic and got the maximum prize for it. So a really great time today with this deck, but that is going to end today's draft. As always, if you enjoy these videos and you'd like to see more, just stick around on the YouTube channel. There will be more in the near future. You can also check the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. I draft pretty much every Friday for sure, and then other days are kind of random. But next week, for the launch of Kamigawa on the 10th, I will be streaming a lot on the Twitch channel, so definitely check that out. But other than that, yeah, just stick around. Kamigawa, not far, February 10th. We're getting really close. I'm super excited for the set, and we'll have tons of drafts out for that set. In the meantime, a little bit of double feature, maybe a little bit of Historic Brawl or something. I am getting a little Innistraded out after almost half a year of it, all the way since Midnight Hunt. We've just been playing a bunch of different Innistrad stuff, so probably will mix it up a bit. Oh yeah, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms quick drafts are going to be live tomorrow as well, so maybe hit that up as well. I don't know. We'll be doing some Magic pretty much daily on the channel, so that is it for the outro. But once again, I'd just like to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you again very soon for some more Magic Arena.